everyone, and welcome back to the Marketer of the Day podcast. We are here with Jason Osborn from ReThink Academy. And Jason is a highly accomplished speaker, coach, and consultant in the fields of digital marketing and mindset. And we're going to be talking about being a marketing consultant. We're going to be talking about what to do if you are just starting out, if you have no following on social media, you want to get those trustworthy relationships built with clients and so much more. Jason, glad to be talking to you.
Hey, Robert, it's great to be here, man. I'm really looking forward to the podcast today.
So am I. So what has got you excited these days? I mean, out of all the, the things that seems to be, it's always the world's speeding up. There's always things to like new bright, shiny objects seem to be focusing on. What has you personally excited and what is your focus these days?
You know what, man, really, the cool thing that I'm really excited about is there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now in the world. We all know that, but it's forced people to look for alternative ways on how to be able to communicate, how to be able to market, how to be able to promote their businesses out. And a lot of it's having to go online. And so what I'm really excited about is while it's a lot of people kind of go, oh yeah, the online stuff, we should be doing that, or maybe they're skeptical of doing that. People are having to do that now because you can't get out there. You can't do the meetings that you're used to be able to do and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just excited. There's a lot more kind of open-mindedness around where we're going with online marketing, how to promote yourself. There's a lot of people not doing it right, but at least people are more open to and saying, look, we've got to pivot our business and somehow, or we're just not going to survive. And so being able to help people do that's been really cool, man. Really enjoying that.
Well, I'm excited to jump in and talk about that. And what you said there reminded me of like lately when I've been trying to getting work done, I've been putting on like a YouTube video of someone driving through cities. Like you can choose any city and just find a video of someone driving through a city. And it made me think back to going to conferences, events, like in-person, things like that. And maybe think like, first of all, that seems like decades ago, but like that seems really old fashioned. Like you'd have to like book a flight and get to the airport and it would waste like a day or two before, a day or two after. You'd be so tired. Like in hindsight, it seems really silly and like a lot of like a waste of time. And now that like, because of COVID and we have faster internet and like video chat and being on camera, it's really the last few years, it's really sped up. I mean, even with like the podcasting, I used to do audio only just a few years ago. And so like, you're right, things are really revolutionized and it seems like it's been a long time coming, but then also I can see how maybe some of these businesses you're mentioning might kind of hesitate because if you're just at home, just at a desk, just at a computer on camera, it's like, it's still not as good. So, I mean, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, so these businesses say, okay, we need to go online, or I need to network on Zoom and podcasts to get get my clients. But it's sometimes tough to do it, right? It's tough to like shower and put your pants on. So, I mean, what do you say to people like that who just say like, well, I'm so tired of sitting at the computer all the time?
Yeah, well, it's a transition, right? I mean, as you said, it's not the way we normally did it, and we thought that you had to do face to face because, and yes, there's a lot of kind of we look at pros and cons. There's a lot of pros of doing face to face. You get kind of that personal rapport you build with someone. You can shake someone's hand. You can sit down and have lunch together and chat through stuff. There's a lot of stuff that yes, that does have. It's hard to replace that, but we're realizing that actually when you're talking and you're having a conversation over Zoom or any other type of platform, Skype or whatever, WhatsApp, doesn't matter, you can still create those good connections and those good relationships by doing that online. And yeah, it'll be great one day when we can start doing, conferences and workshops and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there is an element of being in the room, the excitement. I mean, I've been public speaking since I was 15. And so, getting in front, on the stage, chatting to people and you can't really replace that. The buzz you feel in a room is amazing. And if you're an attendee, like a delegate at a conference, who you're able to meet and all that kind of stuff, it's hard to do that online right now. But in terms of where people are going in their business, being able to go on and market yourself online, promote what you're doing, it's like the world's your oyster right now. And I think people are understanding that more and more and more. And it completely lifts the geographical boundaries for a lot of businesses. Obviously, if you're restricted to, let's say, a particular country because of, let's say you're an attorney and you're only regulated to do law in a particular state or country or whatever. Yeah, I get that. But a lot of people, they're able to expand their business around the world now. And that's what's been really cool is helping people. We've been doing this for years, but particularly last year, it was interesting when all of this hit, February, March kind of time, April time last year, when people were going, what do we do? What's going on? There was a lot of businesses that just didn't pivot. They just went under. And then other businesses that pivoted really, really well. And they've seen their business fly. What we've done in ReThink Academy, when a lot of what we were doing in our business model was speaking in front of people. And we had to pivot that. And it's like what you said, we're able to speak to people all the time. Particularly like the founder, Paul, he'll do a lot of webinars with people, and he's just in his office, his home office. He's not having to go travel, and as you know, spend days traveling and hotel rooms and jet lag and all that kind of stuff. So it's just amazing to see where we're going with it. And I think more and more people, particularly some people are just struggling and with business. People have been furloughed or lost their jobs because of what's gone on over the last year now. And people are looking for opportunities, ways to be able to go, okay, well, we've got to do something. How do I make this online thing work? And so it's been exciting. It's been an exciting year for us, for sure.
And as you're explaining all that, what comes to mind is like every decade we get hit worldwide with something, right? If it's .com bubble, recession, or this, it's like every decade, it's the thing that can be guaranteed is that we'll just be knocked over in some way. And it's like, even as you were describing that, it's like some people just give up, or some people see it as, well, I've been attacked, or I've been hit again. And then others say, well, now it's time to pivot, right? Now it's time for the weak hands to be weeded out. Now it's time for new opportunities. And so as far as like ReThink Academy and the people you've helped, do you have any interesting stories like that, of like people that have used this latest disaster to their advantage in a good way? It sounds shady for some reason.
No. I mean, well, the thing is about, right, there's always an upside to every downside, and I know that sounds kind of overly optimistic, really positive, and I don't mean it from a raw, let's just be positive about everything. So yes, acknowledge the downsides, but there's always an upside to it as well. And so, taking advantage isn't a bad thing. It's going, okay, where are the opportunities in this situation? And there's a lot of people, a lot of clients that we've seen do really well with this. And one one of our clients, when they started with this, they were starting off wanting to, we were training them and teaching them. One of our particular programs is helping people create Facebook ad agencies and stuff like that. And they were wanting to go in and help travel agents. Well, March comes, that went down the drain real quick, And so he had to pivot through what he was doing through that and say, okay, well, who is actually needing this product, this service that I offer, to be able to help them grow and expand their businesses? And the guy started earning full-time income within 3 months doing that. And just by pivoting what he was doing with that, we've had other clients come in and are looking for opportunities because they're just not, they don't know how long their job's going to last, or maybe they've been furloughed, or like I said, they've lost their job. And so coming in and looking at what areas of knowledge do you have right now that you can help people with? Because the thing about it is, all of us probably have an area that we can help people with. And if we don't have an area, where can we upskill to be able to provide a valuable service to people? Because there's so many needs out there. There's needs everywhere. Businesses need stuff. Individuals need stuff. So whether it's coaching, whether it's consultancy, personal, or whether it is with businesses, whether you have a product, whether you already are an existing service provider, maybe an accountant or solicitor or whatever, everyone needs those services. But how to be able to position yourself in a way that makes you stand out above everybody else is really important. So that's what we've been able to do. Long term, we've been able to do that, but obviously this last year, seeing that and helping clients with that, it's just been amazing. So yeah, we see it all the time, and it's phenomenal.
And I can see why you guys are called ReThink Academy, because a lot of what you're saying here is kind of just like asking the important questions and planning ahead and strategizing, and not just going through the day to day. And like you said, some of these people that either they have a new business, or maybe they have like a career, and it's really easy to just get locked into just a straight going ahead, not adjusting anything kind of path, and then wondering, well, what the heck happened? Well, what happened was you didn't plan for the worst and hope for the best. You didn't think about like, well, what if this industry changes? So yeah, this is all like really great stuff to think about, and especially that whole thing you mentioned there of upskilling. I mean, I think about that all the time. I think about, oh yeah, this thing I did. I learned that in high school, or this thing that I do in my business now, like that's a skill I picked up when I was like working this like 9 to 5 job. And so it's like, it's never a waste, right? It's always like, there's things that we pick up throughout our lifetimes, or this or that job or business that pays off later. And so as far as you said that you help kind of elevate people, and you get them attention, and get them kind of standing out from the crowd. So what sorts of things need to happen? I mean, the things that come to mind are, like a website and networking and like consistent social posting, but I'm sure that's just like the foundation. So what do you think is like really missing and really important as far as these people like getting noticed and getting clients?
Yeah, well, there's a couple things around this. I mean, posting's one thing, and different platforms work differently. So if you're posting consistently on Instagram and things like that, that could be really positive for you. My particular specialty is around LinkedIn, and I talk to people all the time that are posting on LinkedIn, and they say, I'm not getting any leads from it. And it's because they don't understand how that platform works, who's on there, the mentality of the people that are on there. And oftentimes posting in and of itself on LinkedIn isn't the best thing to do, but it might do really good on Instagram. So yes, posting and all that kind of stuff is good, but it not only is it consistency around doing that, because it's, you're constantly learning what you understand around how to market yourself online right now is it's going to evolve and change. And one of the things we see all the time with our clients is when we do a training, they'll go away and implement what we're saying to do, come back, and sometimes they'll go, it's not working. I've done everything you've told me to do, and it's still not working. So when we go back and review it, we'll go, well, what about this bit? Or why isn't this there? And they're like, oh, I don't remember you saying that. I'm like, well, and then we'll start going, and they'll go, oh, I do remember you saying that now. And so what happens is, and that's not pointing fingers at anybody, because the thing about it is, if we think about it just from our own school, when we were in elementary or primary school or high school, whatever, you're going to learn, you're going to hear something, you're going to take it in based on the knowledge and information of your life experiences right now. You're going to filter it through that. You're going to implement it on your knowledge base now, and you're going to miss stuff. And so it's about going back and realizing that just because you think you're doing everything right now doesn't always mean you are. And you have to keep learning that over and over. So staying consistent. We always say, tell our students, continue to be a student of the industry. Even once you're done with their program, be a student of the industry, always be learning through that. And then the other thing that we're really, really big on is making sure that you're standing out. And I talk about this all the time, and I'm sure people that follow me probably get tired of me talking about this, but I can't like hammer it home enough around this. Is I always tell people, you have to move outside of a commodity-based market. And I repeat this over and over and over and over again, because people go in and they'll just go, oh yeah, I'm a life coach, or yeah, I'm an accountant, or yeah, whatever. As soon as you do that, I mean, I see marketing people do this all the time as well. Oh, I'm a marketing consultant. Well, great. I know 50 of those. So what makes you different? And so the thing that we're always looking at is how you're positioning yourself in the market to be able to stand out above your overall generic industry that you're in. What really makes you different? What is the real thing you're delivering and helping people to achieve? And being able to continually add value to people through that. If you can add value, people can see you as someone that's genuine, that's there to help, that's there to add value to them, and they have a very clear understanding of what's the main thing you're able to help them to achieve, or solve the problem that they have right now, it changes the game for people. And I know that it sounds oversimplistic, and people go, oh yeah, I know that. And that's one of the things we talk about in Rethink all the time is anytime you go, oh yeah, I know that, you need to stop and just think and go, well, actually, do you know what? Maybe I don't know. If I knew that, why aren't you implementing it? And so that's what we always kind of work on. So that's a couple things, just to help people through that. Posting is fine, but it's about how you're positioning yourself, how you're adding value to the market. It really makes a massive difference.
I like that a lot, and that it's easy to like put yourself in a category and then just say, I'm just like these 50 other people. And so what I'm hearing from you, and what I've been hearing from you this whole conversation, is like how important the people are that you're helping, which like kind of sounds like a cliche, but it's like, if you focus on, well, instead of saying on this label, I can help this type of person with this solution, then that has a lot built in there, right? It kind of has that uniqueness. If that specific type of person is looking for you, they can see that they fit right in. And it seems like it has a lot of the case studies and things like that built in. But it's just when I'm hearing that, I hear like, man, this is one of these things where it takes a lot of thinking, right? And a lot of like kind of thinking over and over and like re-examining, and maybe even after a few years, once you think you have it figured out, re-examine it again. And yeah, this kind of theme that we're talking about of like sometimes thinking fast, sometimes thinking slow, where it's really easy to not be coachable, right? I guess that's what it comes down to. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, we've all had, I used to have like a coaching client like that in particular, who they'd ask me a question and I'd start to answer and they'd say, oh no, wait, I've heard of that. And I'm like, well, hey, hang on a second. I'm trying to answer your question. At least let me finish, because what I say might not be what you say. And yeah, sometimes like, I'll be communicating with someone or they'll be communicating with me, and one of us will just say like, well, what I just said, can you repeat that back to me, just to make sure we're all on the same page, even though it kind of might feel like a waste of time or might feel boring. Like sometimes it just helps to get all those things figured out. And like you said, many times we get advice at age 30, and then we hear one thing because that's how it's filtered, and later on at age 40 we go and get the same exact advice, but then it leads to a different result, because our brains are not exact video recorders, right?
Yeah.
It's filtered through the thing that we already have built into our brain there. And so as we're kind of starting to get near the end of our program here, I really wanted to get to this question that you have here as far as our like possible questions. How do you get that first customer? Because that seems like that's right in there with the thinking slowly, following the steps, doing the fundamentals, and getting some kind of achievable results. So what are your thoughts on if someone is pivoting or brand new or whatever, and they want to get that first customer? How do we get there?
Yeah. So it depends on the industry and what you're doing, but overall, I'll just kind of give a simple answer to this. Your first customer, I'd say, is you always want to lead with value. Get them on a phone and have a conversation with people. And I know that scares people because like, oh no, like I know we don't have those phones, back in the 80s, the big old phones you pick up and stuff. But you pick up your mobile, you pick up phone and you chat with them. And it's not a scary thing. People think, oh, well, what if they say this or what if they say that? And what if I don't answer it? And people get so worked up in their head around that thing. But that's where the learning takes place. And you just have a conversation. And if you get on the phone and you are more focused on how you can help them, how you can add value to them, you're going to be able to help them a lot more, as opposed to how am I going to sell to them? How am I going to have them buy my product? Because or my service, if that's the way you go into and thinking in that conversation, all you're going to think about is, yeah, but how am I going to get them to buy? How am I going to get them to buy? And which means, who are you focused on? You're focused on yourself as opposed to your prospect. So we always tell people, I mean, we go through a process within ReThink and our kind of high-end mentoring clients where, the first thing that we have people do is sell your time, which I know a lot of people don't like that concept because people like this idea of passive income. But until you understand around selling your time, being able to get on a phone, mentor, coach people, provide a service to people, and really understand, that, because you're talking about a brand new business, someone's getting their first client, until you actually understand what their actual needs are, because you can think what they want, but until you actually get them on the phone and start speaking to them and doing it over and over and over again, it's just theory. And once you start doing that and understanding what their needs are, you'll get better at being able to move them into a paying client. Once you do that, you just get really comfortable with that. And then you can move on to creating digital products to help them and all that sort of stuff that helps create more of a passive income that you can start selling online and that sort of thing. So that's why, again, it's industry dependent, but the easiest, fastest way for most people is to provide a service that's very valuable to people, get them on the phone, understand what their needs, what problems they need solved. And as long as you can solve them for them, be able to do that. And even if that means, not, people don't like to hear this sometimes, even if that means you do it for a really low price to begin with. And I know people go, oh, no, but I started this to make a lot of money. Yeah, but you don't have the experience. If it's your first customer, you don't have the experience to be able to charge that amount of money. The main thing is thinking long-term around this. I like your whole, that terminology of thinking slow. It's almost like just think long-term as well, because you need that social proof, not only for yourself that you can actually deliver what you're promoting and selling and offering, but that you have a happy customer. That will do more for your business than charging an extra 500 or 1,000 or $10,000, pounds, euro, whatever you charge in. So that's what we always tell our clients.
Fantastic. And what's really great about that answer is it's general advice because it works in any niche or career, but it's also really specific because like it's a template that it can apply to a lot of different things. And there's so many good nuggets in there. Like what comes to mind is you said earlier that you've been public speaking since you were 15, and a lot of that, at least for me, is shifting the focus from yourself to others. And like you said there, when you get on that phone call, instead of you worrying about you selling them, think more about you helping them. And then that way you're not focused on how nervous you might be or saying the wrong thing. You're focused more about them and what their problems are. And it also ties into, like we're saying, how a lot of things are not online now. Things are really quick. You hop on a quick Zoom call and it seems like it's more of a numbers game and more of a long-term kind of thing. And what I also liked what you said there is how sometimes people are eager to jump to the passive income, which might be a few steps away. And by doing some of this active income here and like getting on the call, selling your time, there's first of all like the quick money, right? You can prove this works. And then you said there that there's social proof, but not there's the usual social proof, but there's also like the proof for yourself there. And then also what kind of came to mind was, well, say someone out there is, I don't know, like an accountant or like you said, a life coach, but they need to find that better terminology. So they're a unique life coach and they want to make a course, but it should be based on the things they're hearing on these calls, right? It should be based on like the objections they hear or the problems they hear or like the keywords or the terms. So that way, when they put out that course, it makes sense and it like, speaks to their language because and I think we've all seen this where it's easy to just try to skip that and say, I'll just charge ahead and I'll make a quick course about this and I'll do passive income. And you got no traffic, you don't have very good copy, and it might be like months wasted. So it's a little bit like a surprise counterintuitive thing that doing these calls, doing the active income might actually save someone months or years of all this passive income not working, or it might, one thing might gradually lead to the next. So this is all really good to think about as far as like the long-term strategy and the steps that I want to make sure that people can find you and they know how to take the next steps and go where they need to go. So how can people find ReThink Academy as well as anything else you want to mention here?
Yeah, sure. So the best way, what we'd like to do, we always lead with value, just what I was talking about. So if people go to rethinkgift.com, It's rethinkgift.com. You can download the first 4 chapters of this book for anyone watching on video. It's called The Rethink Social Media. It's a book by Paul O'Mahony, who's the founder of Rethink. You can download the first 4 chapters of that just to have a look. And then, of course, if you want to connect with me directly, I'm a LinkedIn guy. So connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Jason Osborn. You can find me there. But definitely, the Rethink Social Media book's phenomenal. So rethinkgift.com is the best place to go.
All right, rethinkgift.com and Jason Osborn on LinkedIn. I know we're short on time. I know you have to go, but before I let you go, can you give us one final piece of advice, any final parting words, anything that you'd wish you known for the past 10, 20 years that you could just fit in a sentence or two? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, the thing, I was just thinking about this today. Letting yourself, giving yourself the space and time to be able to succeed. We often try to rush things and make things happen really, really fast. But if you give yourself the permission to let it happen over time, sometimes it'll happen in 2 weeks, sometimes it'll take 18 months. But let it happen. Give yourself the permission to just let that happen. Don't be hard on yourself if it's not happening in the way or time frame in which you would like it to happen, because sometimes you have to let that brew and grow and develop. So, again, we've probably heard that before, but if you really take it on board, it can really, really help.
We might have heard that before, but it could have been at an earlier age where it was filtered differently. So it helps to hear that
Exactly.
again. And those are some deep thoughts, and that's really powerful stuff. I appreciate that. Jason Osborn on LinkedIn, rethinkgift.com. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Hey, man, my pleasure, Robert. Really, really great being on the podcast. Thank you so much.